Good.
Good.
Beginning of the live stream.
Yes. Okay. So we are live. Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm Aaron from Speaking 26, where I show pharmacists and physical therapists how to get their 26 on TOEFL Speaking by showing how I got 30 on TOEFL Speaking. Today, we are attacking and perfecting question number 1. Paulina, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Paulina. I'm from Ukraine, and right now I'm studying for the TOEFL exam because I want to transfer my pharmacy license from Ukraine to America and be a licensed pharmacist here in the US. And in order to do that, I have to pass TOEFL exam on the high score. And we're going
What score? What number do you need on TOEFL Speaking? 26, we're going to get it. Okay, so Paulina, if you want to get refocused on your notes for question number 1, while I ask Sebastian to introduce himself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sebastian. I'm from Chile. I'm a physical therapist, and I'm waiting to transfer my degree to work in United States as a physical therapist. And in order to do that, I need to score 26 in the speaking section for the TOEFL test. So that's what we're doing right now and working on it.
Yes, let's do it. So we're going to get closer to our 26 on TOEFL Speaking by improving on question number 1 today. All right, Paulina, you have 15 seconds to prepare. You may begin preparing now. Time. You now have 45 seconds to speak. You may begin speaking now.
When I have a choice, I will definitely prefer to live in a place with a stable temperature because it will help me to save money on clothes. For example, I had a chance to live in Hawaii for a year, and I only had to buy summer clothes, which saved me a lot of money. Also, changes in the temperature gives me a horrible migraine, which I hate because then I have to take medications to make myself feel better. So for those reasons, I definitely prefer to live in a place with a stable temperature.
Okay, about 5 seconds left. Okay. Okay, so overall a good answer. One way that we can improve that is by jumping into your preference quicker. So I wrote down, it took 8 seconds before I heard what your choice is, what your preference is. It took 8 seconds. We should be able to say that in 3 seconds or 4, which gives us more time for details, more time for a stronger explanation. And that's a little bit problematic with your answer today because we still had 5 seconds at the end where we needed to include more details, more of an explanation. So tell me, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I should have set up timer on my phone so I see the time and continue speaking. Okay. It's a lot of time left.
Okay. It's too much time left, yes, and because even if you would have finished, like if you would have filled in the full 45 seconds, I still would have suggested that you needed to get into stating what your preference is quicker. Okay, so you started by saying something like, when I have a choice, and a way that I recommend is, my choice is, or I prefer, jumping right into it. If it's the writing section, okay, open up the sentence softer in a more elegant way. But in the speaking section, when our speaking answers are for this question are only 45 seconds, we need to jump into it quicker. You know that I've been suggesting this for you as I've been talking about the last minute. It's so that you can include more of an explanation, more details, more examples, more stronger reasons. And the second reason why I suggest for you to get into stating what your preference is, what your choice is quicker, the second reason why I suggest that, Paulina, is because you want to establish a more aggressive everything, a more aggressive speaking rate, more aggressive delivery, a more aggressive tone in general. In your thoughts is where it's going to happen first, and then your spoken word second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask you what you think about that. If there is something that you're like, maybe I said something you really agree with, maybe I said something that you're not sure about, that's okay. I need to honestly hear back from you. What do you think so that I can help you the most?
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. It just, when I feel a little bit frustrated because I feel like we already talked about it before and I still do it the old way. I feel like by this time I should have been better.
Okay, well, that's okay. This is a big challenge. It takes everybody that I help. I have to, so different people I help in different ways. So I know that I know that we have to talk about things more than once. It's difficult and that's okay. So I'm not frustrated. I don't want you to be frustrated. What specifically are you talking about that we agree on and have talked about before?
I feel like everything. We talked about more persuasive, aggressive behavior before. We've talked about how we should start fast and try to get to our explanation as fast as we can. It's all have already been discussed before.
Okay.
And
okay. And I know you know the importance of speaking rate. We've seen that. Okay. Yeah. So when you practice with me and when you practice by yourself, so we need to start doing that immediately because you need to get rounds in. You need repetition. Okay. So like right now on my timer, there was 5 seconds left. And then I'm also going to say we should have had 3 seconds left, 5 and 3 for a total of 8. 3 seconds at the beginning. I want you to get into that quicker. So on your first answer today, there was about 8 seconds that we have the opportunity to fill with stronger explanations.
And not just fill it with words, fill it with something informative.
Explaining.
Mm-hmm.
With a stronger explanation, yes. Okay, so let's see, where can we start to fill those 8 seconds with a stronger explanation? You save clothes, a personal example about Hawaii, and when the temperature changes, you get sick. You said migraines or you get sick?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say some more details about why, how I got there, what was happening. Like for example, something like I was a foreign exchange student at the University of Hawaii, and I got a chance to live there for a year. And I realized that I saved so much money because I didn't have to buy any winter clothes there because it's summer all year around. And I was really happy about it.
Only a little bit of that was directly related to changing seasons, changing temperatures. So let's think of a counter argument for one of these things. Okay, you get to save on clothes, and so that's a good thing. And you get sick if the temperature changes. Let's think of the opposite of one of those. So I heard you talking about clothes right now. You get to save on clothes. Okay. Polina, what if you're living in a place where the weather is changing all the time?
Then I will have to buy warm coats, warm jackets, summer dresses.
I'll have to buy jackets to keep cold in the winter and dresses, to keep warm in the winter and dresses to keep cool in the summer.
there's much wider variety of things that I have to get, whereas in Hawaii, I can just buy.
No. Did you just hear my sentence?
No. Well,
No. Okay. My sentence is staying right with changing weather, changing seasons. I'm using your good examples. Okay, listen to it this time. Okay, so you said you get to save clothes if you're living in a place where the weather, where the season is the same. If I'm living in a place, using the words from the question, if I'm living in a place where the weather is changing, I need to buy a jacket to keep warm in the winter, and I need to buy summer dresses to keep cool in the summer. Do you hear how that sentence is completely packed with details directly related to the words from the question?
yes.
What did you hear? Explain it to me.
I've heard more
Or
detailed
give your own
explanation.
version of that sentence.
I've heard more detailed explanation of why I prefer a stable temperature all year round.
Okay. Would you like to give your own version of a sentence like that right now, or maybe take some notes and include that in your second answer to today's question?
I can try to give my own answer.
Okay.
So, for example, when I lived in Hawaii, I could only buy shirts and t-shirts and wear them all year round, and it helped me to save so much money because the weather is always warm there, and I didn't have to buy warm jackets to keep me warm in winter as most of the world will do.
Good, much better. I heard the intertwining of the words from the question, weather, season, with your examples, clothes, saving money. Much better. Okay, so when we transition to Sebastian here, I want you to either write down that exact great sentence you just improved on, or take notes on something that's going to help you remember to do that for your future speaking answers.
Okay.
Okay, and then you'll give a second answer after I give my answer. Okay, anything, Polina, any last points or things that you want to remember?
No,
okay, good. Okay,
it.
Sebastian, are you ready for 15 seconds to prepare?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, for your first answer, I'll give advice, I'll give my answer, and then you both will give a second answer.
Okay.
Okay, Sebastian, you have 15 seconds to prepare. You may begin preparing now. Time. You now have 45 seconds to speak. You may begin speaking now.
I definitely prefer living in a place with a more stable temperature. The first reason is because there is less risk for my house to be damaged. Maybe for some people, living in a place with the weather changing constantly, it can be nice because they can enjoy different things, different temperatures. But for me, it's not comfortable because if my house is in risk, I'm going to have to spend more money on it to fix it. For example, the air conditioner and the heater is going to change. The snow, it can affect the roof. The temperature can affect the materials of the house, which definitely is not suitable for me to increase my expenses.
Time. You can finish your thought if you want to. Expenses.
And that's the main reason why I prefer living in a place with a more stable temperature.
That was the best answer I've heard from you. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Why were you able to give the best answer I've heard from you today?
He's really knowledgeable in that.
I think that question helped me because as I like to fix my house, I think it was like very suitable for me. And sometimes when the question is not related to something that I do, is when I struggle with my answers. But I think the question helped me because it's something that I like to do and I enjoy.
Yes, very suitable to you. So especially for questions number 1, where we have the most flexibility to make the question suitable for us, related to us, I want you to continue doing that, Sebastian. Next time, maybe you won't get to talk about your home, which, like Paulina said, is something you're very knowledgeable about. It's in your wheelhouse, something you can speak comfortably, confidently about. Next time, maybe you won't get to speak about your home, but whatever the question is for question number 1, find a way to talk about, I'm from Chile, now I live in a different country. If the question's talking about traveling or something else, make sure you're finding ways to bring it to personal examples that you are very confident with, like you did a great job of doing just now. Specifically, I liked your answer because that was the best answer that I've heard from you, because your counter argument was well constructed. So just like last time, you're giving very strong counter arguments. I heard you say, when you go back and watch this, you're probably going to see me smile when you gave your answer because I liked it so much. The first reason why you prefer stable weather is because it's less risk to your home. You established that. Good. You established why that's your preference, the positive. And then I liked your language use, scoring criteria for TOEFL speaking language use. I liked your language use when you transitioned to your counter argument, the negative reason why you don't prefer changing weather. You said something like, I understand why other people would enjoy changing weather patterns or something like this, but for me, it's not enjoyable. I have to worry about the roof and et cetera, good examples. So excellent language use and construction of your counter argument.
I think as we have been working in question number 1 frequently, I know whenever I face this question, the first thing I think is giving my first reason, giving a counter argument, and then go a little deep with the reason I gave in the beginning.
And then going deeper with the first reason. Okay.
Right, and that helped me to give like a structure in my answer.
Okay. What part of the structure of your answer to question number 1 do you want me to help you with the most?
Well, I think it depends on the question, because now I was able to give my reason, give a counter argument, and go deeper with my reason.
Okay.
Because I think I knew about the topic.
Okay, so for today, neither one of us is sure immediately how to improve your first answer, because this was the best answer that I've heard from you so far. When we go back and watch this, I will send you messages with more details on improvement as usual. But for now, as you prepare, while Paulina and I give our answers and you're waiting to give your second answer, I'm going to give you something to focus on to improve your answer. Okay. So I'm going to pretend to debate you on the issue. So you said you prefer stable weather. Okay. And it's because of your home. So I'm just going to give you some thoughts right now to improve your answer. You already gave a good counter argument, but maybe this will help you fill it with more details or more persuasion, more force. Okay, so listen, yeah, Sebastian, but what if somebody tells you it's not all about your home, Sebastian? So maybe you would be happier if you focused on going outside and enjoying different weather patterns, instead of only thinking about the aesthetics of your home, how good your home looks. I think you'd live a happier life if you were less concerned about your home and more concerned about and focused more on enjoying day-to-day life, time. If something bad happens to your home, you have home insurance. You're covered. You can't replace time though. If you miss out on a beautiful sunny day or a beautiful snowy day, you'll never get that time back.
Yes, you're too stressed about your house. You should be that focused on it.
So that's why I prefer to have changing weather patterns, and that's also why you should too. Okay,
Yes.
so Sebastian, right now, I want you have good ideas. I want you to write those down. You're going to include those in your second answer. Focus on that right now and ignore myself and ignore Paulina. Write down those notes for the next minute.
You want me to give a counter argument for that, or like something opposite to that?
I want you to use the last minute that I just said any way that you want to make your good answer even better. Okay, focus on writing that down right now. Focus on preparing for your second answer right now. Okay. Okay, and Paulina, can you give me 15 and then 45 seconds? And I'm going to do the same on my phone here so that I can see when I'm speaking and preparing. Okay, I see the question. Prefer to live in places with different weather or the same, different seasons or the same season all year?
You have now 15 seconds to prepare. Begin preparing now.
I prefer to live in places that have different seasons. This is because I grew up in a place that has 4 true seasons. I became accustomed to enjoying the changing seasons. Okay, time.
Time now. You now have 45 seconds to speak. Begin speaking now.
I prefer to live in places that have changing seasons, changing temperatures, more than I prefer to live in a place with only one season throughout the whole year. The main reason why I prefer this is because as somebody who grew up in a place with 4 true seasons, I became accustomed to making the most of those 4 seasons. For example, going snowboarding with my brother in the wintertime or going swimming with my sisters in the summertime. These enjoyable activities that have become a part of who I am are only possible in a place where there are 4 true seasons. Now, I understand why somebody would prefer to live in a place with one temperature throughout the whole year. We save money and don't have to prepare for the extremes of hot and cold, but I still prefer to live in a place that has 4 true. Okay. Paulina and Sebastian, is there one thing from my answer that helps your answers?
Well, for me, I think I will say the fluency right now.
Fluency, okay? Tell me more.
Okay.
How does that help you?
Well, something that I have been struggling with is the capacity to speak, be fluent, and I need to be able to convey all the ideas and while I'm being fluent.
Okay.
I make too many pauses when I speak, and it's of course it's related to what we have been talking about before.
What's that? What have we been talking about before? Tell yourself specifically, what do you want to improve on and how are you going to improve on that day in and day out, week in and week out?
Yeah, well, part of those pauses that I make is because what we talked before is sometimes I'm afraid to talk too much, and being in a position where I can't find the word to keep talking about specific topics. So part of the things that I had to do and what I have been doing is going out of my comfort zone and speak constantly, and in that way I can learn new words, I can learn new phrases and improve my fluency with that too.
Okay.
And not being afraid of what other people can think about it.
Oh, 100%. I 100% agree with that.
So that's why I think it's something that I need from your answer is the fluency when I give my answer.
Okay, but yes, speaking fluency, yes. And thank you for sharing the thoughts we just heard and what I'm starting to write down, type here and screen share. I want to know specifically, Sebastian. So I'm thinking of two scenarios. I'm thinking of your day-to-day life, walking around in the United States of America, speaking to other native English speakers. I'm thinking of your day-to-day life where you are going out on a limb more, improving your speaking very consciously day to day, even though other people don't know it. You're using conversation to converse with them, to be friendly, and also to get closer to your 26 on TOEFL speaking. And I'm also thinking of when you practice with me and by yourself. So there's day-to-day conversation and specific targeted TOEFL speaking practice. Talk about one of those with what you were just talking about. Being okay with putting yourself in a position where you might not know how to finish your thought. Talk about one of those scenarios right now.
Well, in a day-to-day experience, I try to use any opportunity I have when I go to the store or while I'm working. I try to turn all those conversations, TOEFL practice opportunity.
Great. Tell me more.
To learn new words, to add more vocabulary to my speaking skills. Actually, even improving my grammar skills, because.
But how does that help you? People aren't asking you question number 3, explain this concept you've never heard before. How does that help you at the grocery store or at work?
Well, what I have been doing is mainly when I talk with somebody, I ask them for corrections frequently. Mainly more than correction, if I can't find a word or if I can't find the phrase that I need, I ask them like, how will you say this? And that helped me a lot, because
that helps you a lot because
I learned new phrases, and I learned words that I didn't know before. Because when I translate things in my mind, sometimes I translate it too literally, but in English it doesn't make any sense sometimes. So in the way people tell me those phrases or the way they think it should be, it helped me to improve my speaking skills.
Excellent. Very good. Last thing. Is there a part of that that's hard? Because I remember you saying something like you might have been embarrassed to do that before. How do you feel about that now? Is it easier to do now because you see how that's directly related to getting your 26 on TOEFL speaking? What do you think?
I think it's easier right now because I understand it as a part of the process to learn, to improve my English. I think, and it took me a long time to understand that making those mistakes is part of the process, and
yes,
and all of those mistakes brings a lot of learnings opportunities.
Excellent. Great to hear. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, Sebastian. Paulina, is there one thing from my answer that helps your answers?
Persuasive behavior, maybe.
Behavior. Okay, so my movement of my
Attitude,
body and arms.
your attitude, the way
Okay.
you speak. I feel like it makes everyone think that they don't have a choice other than agree with what you're saying.
I state my preference for question number 1 so strongly that it feels like that the other choice doesn't even exist. I strongly explain why I prefer my choice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the first thing you said was persuasive behavior. Are you...
Not the behavior, that was the wrong word, but like the way you speak.
The way I speak, okay.
Oh.
How can you speak more persuasively so that when the TOEFL speaking grader hears your answer, they forget about the choice you didn't choose? How can you do that?
Probably first I should be very focused on the answer and forget about everything else around me. Find the good points so I could talk about them.
Okay, like you did here, saying your preference for stable weather, for a place that only has one season the whole year.
Not to be quick in my answer, because if I feel like every second matters, and if like in the real world we are in a conversation, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
But on the TOEFL exam, if we lose a few seconds, it's a big loss. And
yes.
You know.
Yes.
That's what it makes it difficult. One of the reasons why it's so difficult, and also one of the things that I need to work on to make sure I use my time, productively, not wasted on vague phrases.
Yes, they need to be direct phrases, completely connected to answering the words from the question. Right. So instead of when you said earlier today, something about college that started to drift a little bit away from why you were in Hawaii, which is already a little bit away from a changing weather. I know what you're saying. It's connected, but you're starting to drift a little bit. Instead of being vague, no. We're going to say the good examples, like the sentence that we thought of, and I think you wrote down.
First, I thought like this way I will create a better picture and use more details, but it was a little bit in the wrong direction.
Right.
And
I'm glad that you realize that. When you go back and watch this, I want you to really appreciate, as I am right now, the things you just said this last minute. That's what to focus on. Less vague, more direct answers. If everybody, okay, I err. I make mistakes in my speaking. Yeah, I got a 30 out of 30 on TOEFL speaking, but I make mistakes in all of my answers. They can always be better. If I'm going to make a mistake, I'm going to err on the side of being too repetitive, too direct in answering the question, more so than I'm going to make a mistake and err on the side of being vague. Maybe it sounds a little bit repetitive, but that's what keeps me directly answering the question. And I'd rather make that small mistake than risk making a bigger mistake, which is being vague and a little bit off topic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So did you take notes on that sentence that we constructed to improve
Yeah.
your first speaking answer? Okay. Are you ready for 15 seconds to prepare?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. How are you going to open your, let's imagine you have 45 seconds to speak. You may begin speaking now. How are you going to begin?
I definitely prefer stable temperature rather than temperature
Boom.
changes.
You just gave yourself at least 3 more seconds to explain by beginning that way. I like
I
it.
don't know if I say rather than something else, or just I prefer this and go to the example.
My advice is to get the quicker we can directly answer the question, the better for the speaking section.
Okay.
It's asking us a very specific question. I want to immediately begin answering that question. You have 15 seconds to prepare. You may begin preparing now. Time. You now have 45 seconds to speak. You may begin speaking.
Hold on, let me set up my own timer.
Okay, good.
Okay.
You may begin speaking now.
I definitely prefer to live in an area with a stable temperature because it will help me to save a lot of money on clothes. For example, a few years ago, I got a chance to live in Hawaii, and all I had to buy was jeans and t-shirts, and I could wear them all year around. And so I didn't have to waste money on the jacket to keep me warm like the rest of the world will do, which I really liked. What's more, it's stable temperature makes me feel better because temperature changes can give me headache, and I have to take medicines to relieve it.
Time. Okay, so it was stronger and better until you caught yourself saying "what's more" again,
I
and
know.
then you lost confidence. You could have kept going, but that affected you a little bit more than it should have.
Unintentionally, I said that, and I was like, no, why did I say this? But then I was like, no, keep going.
Keep going
You can't stop.
strongly. Yeah.
Well, at least if I say that on the exam, graders will know that I use this word too often. I know I shouldn't use it, but at least they won't know.
I'm going to focus on helping you with your
word.
I'm going to focus on helping you with your speaking fluency. So one thing, so maybe the next time you give your very next speaking answer, or the next day that you're practicing, focus on other, like instead of focusing on the bigger, more important part, maybe spend 10 minutes focusing on using different transitions. On top of that, in addition, so focus on that part. You need that smaller part you need to improve on, and then go back out to the bigger picture, more important explanation. Okay. All right. What do you want to remember to continue to do well on, or what do you want to remember to improve on?
I want to improve on being, sharp in my answers, be direct and straight to the point. And of course, being quick and speak confidently.
Sharp, direct, quicker to directly answer the question. On this second answer, I wrote down when I heard what your answer to the question was, and you said it after 5 seconds, which gave you 3 more seconds to add to your explanation. Good. Okay.
But by sharp, do you mean accurate?
Sharp is, like, how would you explain sharp?
How would you explain sharp?
Isn't like being accurate or specific what you want to say, or?
Yeah, it being very direct and straight to the point,
Okay.
being like smart and only say the things that matters.
Good.
Not
Being direct to the point, only saying the things that matter, not what.
not like spread out and lose the topic. I think being sharp is like, it's smart and know what you're talking about, and being able to talk about it confidently.
Yes. Yes. And you are very smart. You can speak, especially question number 1, because there is no right answer. The right answer is whatever we prefer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when other people tell me that question number 1 is the hardest for them, I understand, I empathize, I get it. But for me, that's the one that's the easiest to be confident with, because it's a personal choice question. Of course, I'm confident in what my choice is. It's not asking me to solve the equation of the universe. It's asking me, what do I, Aaron, prefer? I will confidently tell you what I prefer. So this is a second part. I want you, when you go back and watch this, I want you to hear your words from a minute ago, Paulina. Sharp. And then when you explained what sharp is. This is very important. I know it's easy when we finish class to not do what I just suggested, but a minute ago and earlier, when you explained after your first answer, you just said things in a way that, like, you know how to improve your speaking answers. You elaborated on it twice today in this class. So it's very important that you go back and listen to that. It's a good thing that we have it recorded for you to remind yourself on. It's very easy after our class to turn on the TV or to go to sleep, but I need you to go back and listen to your own words, because you just gave yourself the answers. And that's why I ask you those questions. Instead of giving you my advice, which I do that also, but that's why I also ask you to give yourself advice, because after giving your answer, you're in a rare state of mind where you're glimpsing into the answers for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to ensure that we use that great advice that you just gave yourself, the next time we have a class, I'm going to begin by asking you what you took away from your own advice.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Unless, Paulina, is there anything else that you would like to say or remember before we transition to Sebastian giving his second answer?
No, that was it, I think.
Okay, good.
We went
Okay,
over
Sebastian.
everything.
Okay, good, Paulina. Okay, Sebastian, you have 15 seconds to prepare. Let me help you before I do that. Okay, yeah, what if somebody tells you, Sebastian, you should, yeah, I know a home is a great, important thing for the family. We live in our homes. I get it. But damage can happen to anybody's home. We have home insurance, and that's fixable. But losing time is never replaceable. You have 15 seconds to prepare. You may begin preparing now. Time. And Sebastian, if you want to see 45 seconds on your phone also, that's a good idea. Okay. You have 45 seconds to speak. You may begin speaking now.
I definitely prefer living in a place where the weather changes constantly. And the first reason is because I like to enjoy different experiences when the nature change throughout the year. Maybe for some people, living in a stable temperature with a stable weather, it can be nice for them, staying in their comfort zone. But for me, that is not enjoyable. I really like to be prepared for the next season, being able to decorate the house, being able to see how the weather, how the nature change, the color, being able to see
Time.
different animals.
Okay. All right, you switched it up on me there. You went with the different choice.
Yeah, I mean, after you said that I should enjoy other things, I thought I had to change my preference.
Oh, no. What you did was fine. That was a good exercise on choosing the option that's not your first choice.
Mhm.
I said that I was giving you ideas to make the same choice to make your first answer more powerful. So in your first answer, you gave a counter argument, like you said, I understand why some people would enjoy changing weathers. In your first answer, Sebastian, you said they enjoy the different seasons. So you gave a good counter argument. I was countering your counter argument. I
Oh,
was
okay.
pretending to debate you in order to give you more information. So you didn't have to, but that's fine that you did. It's a good exercise you've seen Polina and I do, where we give the perspective that's not our natural choice. So that's another way to improve. Good. Okay, so I could tell like that answer wasn't as easy for you to give that perspective, but that's good. You're sharpening your speaking skills by forcing yourself to do that. You talked about how you understand that some people would like to stay in a place that has the same seasons all year, the same season all year. They can stay in their comfort zone. All right. Yeah, that one was not as smooth as your first answer, and that's to be expected, but that's okay. I still like that you did it. What do you like or dislike from that, from giving the answer that's not your natural preference?
Well, I think I think I couldn't support my reason like very strong, and also my counter argument, it was kind of weak. So I think I could have sharpened that a little more.
Okay. Yeah, but remember that it's still good for you. Simply doing that is progress. Simply forcing yourself to give an answer that's not your natural choice is progress. That will make your future counter arguments even stronger.
Yeah, because when I gave my counter argument, maybe I should have said a little more about people who prefer a more stable temperature.
Okay, what would you want to say about that?
Well,
let's do it right now.
What I will say is maybe for some people like to stay in a comfort zone because they don't like to take risk in their life or risk in their environment, and also related to their expenses, which what I said before.
Yeah, how dare you tell me that I should prefer 4 different seasons, Sebastian? I want to save money by not having to have both firewood and swimming shorts. I only want to spend on one season. What do you say to that?
Yeah, but I think it is important to take the risk to enjoy other things because it can bring other learnings opportunities and also being able to widen our knowledge and enjoy other things too.
Okay, to widen our experience base, to have more experiences in life. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to end this live stream and then we are going to continue. So you